So we're going to be talking about a new selling method called needs-based selling. This is NEPQ specifically for real estate investors. And this is my promise to you. So I'm going to make a promise to you guys that if you pay attention today, if you write things down, if you engage in the class, you're going to understand these three things. Number one, you are going to understand exactly why some of the top wholesalers in the country scale much faster and much more profitably, much more consistently than others. The second thing that I'm going to promise you guys is that if you stick around till the end, you will understand how to close at least one more deal out of your next 8 offers. Now, for some of you guys, most of you guys, it's going to be a deal a month. If you're just getting started, it might be your first deal. And if you're doing, already $100,000 a month, it's probably going to be like 5 to 10 deals per month. And then at the end, if you stick around all the way till the end, I'm going to show you how to get access to our scripts, our objection handlers, and 20 hours worth of content completely for free. And so that's my promise to you guys today. Now, if you guys don't know who I am, first of all, I would love to know how many of you guys you haven't seen anything about me so far. So type in a 1 if you're like, haven't seen anything about you, just saw an ad. This is the first thing that I'm seeing for you guys. Okay. So some of you guys, looks like a lot of you guys already know who I am. So my name is John Lalonde. I currently run a 7-figure wholesaling business. I've had the privilege to train some of the largest wholesaling companies in the country alongside Jeremy Miner. So a lot of you guys might know Jeremy. That's him on the right here. And I've had the privilege to work with him to train some of the largest companies in the country, companies doing, $300K a month, $500K a month, $1 million a month, really, really big wholesaling and flipping operations, right? I've been able to do that while running my own 7-figure business. And I'm a proud gringo dad. So that's my most important accomplishment right here. That's my family. And the reason I love this business is I've been able to do this from another country. I get to travel 7, 8 times a year. I'm literally going to the beach next week, and this business runs without me. Now, I've been able to do this because of the process I'm about to teach you guys, but how many of you guys are sitting there right now? Maybe you've seen other people online and you guys are maybe a little bit skeptical. You're like, I always hear people talking about making millions of dollars, but nobody actually ever shows me that they're making millions of dollars. Nobody actually shows me any sort of proof. How many of you guys are sitting there? Just type in a 1 right now if you're super skeptical, or type in a 1 if you guys want to see some sort of proof, right? Who wants to see some sort of proof? So I'm going to share my screen because I was always sick and tired of the guys. I see them on Instagram. They're flexing their used Rolls Royces and their supercars that probably cost $100,000 because they're 2016 and they're not actually showing how much money that they're making, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and show you guys. So first of all, can you guys type in a 1 if you guys can see this? I want you guys to type in a 1 if you guys can see my CRM. All right. Now I'm going to show you guys 2 things. All right. Now, first of all, this is my actual business, right?
John,
Yeah.
John, that's not the screen.
Which one am I showing?
The Google Doc.
Oh, there we go. All right. Can you guys see can you guys see this now? Is that the right one, Zach?
Yep.
All right, cool. So you guys see a CRM. You guys were like, 1, that's not a CRM. All right. You guys see this right now? All right, cool. So this is my actual business, guys. So this is my CRM. You can see this month. So literally 2 days ago, we got 2 contracts. We got another one on the 21st, another one on the 20th, another one on the 9th, another one on the 8th, on the 7th, on the 6th, on the 2nd, on the 2nd, on the 1st. These are contracts that we're getting nearly every day. Now, I mean, look in the last 30 days, you guys can see what, 20, 22 contracts or so. You guys can scroll through. We've been doing deals like this for a while. Now, here's the thing that nobody will show you guys is everybody will show you how many contracts they're doing, but how many of you guys want to see how much profit does that actually mean, right? Type in a 1 if you guys are like, yeah, I don't give a shit about contracts. I want to see profit, right? I want to see what that actually does. And so I'm going to show you guys something that nobody else will show you, which is this is just this month. This is for October, right? So just this month, you can see $190,000 in income. Now look at net income after all expenses. $92,990. And we have another $30,000 closing between today and tomorrow, right? And so my company isn't just making seven figures a year. I'm talking about taking home seven figures per year inside of your business, over six figures per month. So type in a one in the chat if you guys are less skeptical now, because I've shown you guys that I'm actually doing this. You can see my CRM. You can see that I have sales reps locking up deals every single day. So type in a one if you guys are ready to go now. You guys are ready to learn this stuff. And I had that screenshot just in case QuickBooks wasn't working. I cannot Photoshop that. I literally pulled it up directly from QuickBooks. Cool. It is showing. You guys all saw that, right? I want to make sure everybody type in a one if you saw it. Robert says it's not showing. Robert, I think that's a you thing, not a everybody thing. So you guys can go back and you guys can see this. All right. Now here's the thing. This is what I've noticed after not only growing my own business to seven figures worth of profit per year, but also training some of the largest companies in the country. Number one, your marketing doesn't matter. And I used to always feel like it was the marketing, right? And then what I realized after doing 7, 8 different marketing channels, after training some of the largest companies in the country, is some guys were crushing it with SMS. Sometimes some guys were crushing it with cold calling. Some guys were doing direct mail. Some guys were doing PPC. It really didn't matter. That wasn't the commonality that caused people to be successful. The other thing that was kind of surprising to me is I used to feel like you had to be in the right market. And then what I realized is after training some guys doing, $500,000 a month in New York, $500,000 a month in Missouri and in the Midwest, I realized your market doesn't matter as well. I was like, okay, well, if there's people doing $500,000, $300,000, $500,000 in SoCal, in New York, in the Midwest, everywhere, it's not your market. It's not your marketing. So what is it? And this is the commonality. There's only two things that actually matter to run a successful wholesaling and flipping business. Number one is how efficiently you convert your leads into closed deals. How efficiently do you convert your leads into closed deals? So how many raw leads does it take you to get a deal? That's why I don't show lead to contract. I show lead to deal, right? And the second thing is how quickly they can get their cash back into their business by not missing out on opportunities. Because every deal that you miss is another 30 days that might go by before you get a paycheck. Now, there's only one issue here. The entire real estate industry has been teaching you sales completely backwards. But once you understand what I am going to show you today, I promise you that you are never going to look at a seller conversation the same way. Most importantly, you are going to understand if you've been struggling in this market, why you've been struggling. You're going to understand why some investors are able to scale on autopilot while others don't get any traction. And it's not because they're better at finding deals. It's not because they're better at marketing. It's because they understand something about human psychology that everyone else is getting completely backwards. Now, I'm going to show you guys the old way of selling. Okay. Now, I want you guys to be real with me for a second. I want you guys to type in a one in the chat if you guys are using a process similar to this, something similar. All right. So you ask, what's the condition of the home? You ask them what has them looking to sell the property. You ask them about their time frame, and you ask them how much they're looking to get for it. Type in a one in the chat if you're doing something like that. Now, here's the thing, guys. It's not your fault. This is what most of the industry has been teaching. The industry has been teaching this over and over and over again. Everybody's been doing this, right? Now, in our community, what we call the people that do this is McDonald's closers. All right. And the reason we call them McDonald's closers is because you're not actually selling, you are order taking. You are asking them, what's the condition of the home? How much are you looking to get for it? What's your time frame? They are basically you're just sifting around and fishing until you find a deal that works for you. Now, this is the old way of selling. So after today, I want you guys to type in the chat that you guys are no longer McDonald's closers. Type in the chat, I am no longer a McDonald's closer. If you guys want to run a company that does 7 figures per year profit and you guys want to scale, I am no longer a McDonald's closer. So Justin Harvard, I love that. Zoom user. By the way, you guys are no more Mickey D's. You guys are typing a host and panelist, but you guys get it. Now, here's what happens though with the old process. So when you guys use this process, number one, you sound like everybody else. So what happens is the conversation goes well, then the seller will ghost you. I want you guys to type in a 1 in the chat if that's happening to you right now. You're like, man, I'm having good conversations, but then the seller's ghosting me. The seller hits you with, I need to think about it, or they need to talk to somebody else at the end of their call. Type in a 1 in the chat if that's happening to you right now. Or this is the most frustrating one. The seller says their offer is too low, even though you know you can solve their problem. So they're like, they're like, okay, well, I have some sort of problem, but they still hit you with that the price is too low. Type in a 1 if that's been what you are getting into right now, what you're getting hit with. So let's do an exercise. I want to show you guys something to really help this go home. So for all of you guys that are typing in a 1, I want you guys to tell me in the last 90 days, how many deals do you feel like you've lost to those 3 objections? I want you guys to type this to everyone, not just the host and panelists. So go in the chats, type into everyone. In the last 90 days, how many deals? So Nick Redmond said all of them, but how many is that, Nick? So Camden Cardwell says 10 to 15. You guys that are saying many, like really think about it. How many? So Nick says 5 a month. Timo says 20. Justin Harvard says 3. Luke says close to 30 at least. Lisa says maybe 20, 10 plus. Some of you guys are brand new. Even if you're brand new, think about how many deals that you probably could have got if you would have known how to overcome these objections. Now, let's do another exercise. What is your average deal size? Drop in what your average deal size is in the chat. And if you don't know, if you're like nationwide, it's probably around $22,000. But I want you guys, so Expert Home Buyer says 20 to 25. Emery says 15K. Justin Harvard says 66. Okay, 15. Yeah, that's okay. So some of you guys are around like the 15. So this is the exercise I want you guys to do. I want you guys to add up. I want you to do a little simple multiplication, right? So like for Camden, right? Camden said 10 to 15 in the last 90 days. I want you to take in how many deals you feel like you've lost in the last 90 days. And I want you to multiply it by your average deal size. So let's say 15 times 15,000. So for Camden, that might be roughly $225,000. For you guys, I want you to let me know in the chat, how much revenue was that for you? Let me know in the chat, how much revenue was that on missed opportunities? And once you understand this, you're going to understand why some wholesaling companies scale much faster. And the reason is because the money that you're leaving on the table by losing to these objections, by sounding like everybody else, by being a McDonald's closer, that's the money that A player teams are using to invest more in marketing and hire A player talent so they can work on scaling their business, right? So for you guys that were like, okay, you did the math and you were like, oh, that's $100,000. What would you do with that $100,000? You would reinvest it back into marketing. You might hire an acquisitions manager, hire a dispo, right? Like you might put it back into the business to improve your systems. That money that you're losing right now is the reason why you're stuck. You don't need more leads. You don't need to go into a new market. You don't need better systems or processes. You need to stop losing the deals that you're losing right now. I want you guys to type in a 1 in the chat if you understand that. I want you guys to type in a 1 in the chat if you understand that. Now, this is the issue, guys, is that everything that you've learned so far, every single script, every objection handler, it's designed to trigger the logical part of the brain. That's what the industry has been doing. The industry has been teaching us to sell to the logical part of the brain. Every script, every objection handler, every rapport building strategy is designed to convince the logical part of the brain. Now, here's the thing. There's a neuroscientist. His name's Dr. Antonio Damasio. And Antonio Damasio did a study on people that had a damaged prefrontal cortex, the part of their brain that regulates emotions. Now, that's fancy terminology, really simple concept here. The really simple concept is if you cannot regulate emotions, you physically cannot make decisions. And the reason why is human beings do not make decisions based off of logic. Human beings make decisions based off of emotions. So I was a sniper in the Marine Corps. I was on a recon team. Unfortunately, one of my mentors, this happened to his friend, got blown up, shook his brain really bad, couldn't regulate emotions, couldn't figure out what shoe to put on in the morning. Like could not make any decisions because human beings do not make decisions based off of logic. And I used to believe this, right? I used to believe that all human beings made decisions off of logic. And I was like, I'm very logical, right? I make all my decisions based off of numbers and data and things like this. And then what I realized is to its core, every decision that I make, the emotion that I'm after is security for my family. That's the emotional driver that triggers me to do everything that I do. It's emotional security, it's security for my family. And so this is something that only the top 1 to 2% of sales reps understand. And if you sell to the logical part of the brain, it's literally like putting gasoline in the trunk of your car and wondering why it's not going anywhere. So I want you guys to understand this. I want you guys to type in a 1 in the chat if you understand this. If you're a McDonald's closer, you don't understand this. But for you guys on this call, human beings make decisions off of emotion, not logic. All right. So now that we have that, I'm going to be talking about our new process. Are you guys ready to jump into the process of how we actually get people into the emotional part of the brain to make decisions with the part of the brain that actually makes decisions? Awesome. Now, a couple of things to help you guys get the most out of this. I like to do this on every one of these because luckily I've had people do this for me. I have spent tens of thousands, probably over $100,000 on sales training alone and multiple 6 figures on education. And here's what I've noticed is if I just sit there and I listen, and this is backed up by science as well. If I sit there and I listen, I retain about 20 to 30% of what I've learned. All right. If I write things down, for me personally, I retain like 80%, but statistically, you will retain at least 50% of what you learned today if you write things down. And so I'm going to get you guys to learn the most out of this class. I want you guys to type in the word pen, Pen, if you have something to write this down with. This is how you guys get the absolute most out of this masterclass. And you guys can learn exactly what the top companies in the country are doing to close more deals. Ken Franklin. I love you guys. You guys are funny. Now, for you guys that want to get the absolute most out of this, the absolute most, and when I learned this, I really started to retain information better, is I will engage with the speakers, right? So I will literally engage. So I am going to train you guys today like I train my students, right? And I want you guys to think about some of the questions that I'm asking you guys and respond. Because when you think about it and when you engage and when you participate and you start typing, this is how it locks into your brain. So there are 84 people. I want to see 84 people type in the word engage, E-N-J, or just an E, but engage, if you guys know how to spell engage, that you guys are engaged, ready to jump into this. And then the last thing I'll do, it's really simple, is make sure you're posting to everyone. Sometimes you guys ask questions and you post it to hosts and panelists and nobody else can see it. So make sure that you guys are posting to everyone. And then Tawny said engage till the end. So we're going to go about 90 minutes today. Who's going to stick around all the way to the end to get the free script, to get everything at the end here? All right, awesome. So we're going to lock and load and we're going to jump in. The first thing that I want you guys to write down, this is like pre-sales process. It's like before I even give you the script, this is one of the most important things. I want you guys to write down that sales is only 20% about the questions that you ask. And it's 80% about how you ask the question. Sales is only 20% about the question that you ask, and it's 80% about how you ask the question. And so I remember when I went through all of the industry specific sales training, and I'm not going to name their names because I think they're good people. They just have bad sales training. I was like, everybody was just teaching me these scripts, right? They were giving me these scripts that were like, hey, how are you doing? You know, tell me what's going on with the property. And, you know, this calls to see if we're a good fit, and all these scripts. And they were telling you the things to say, but they weren't talking about how to actually ask the question. And 80% of the sales process is about how you're asking the question. And I'm going to go over the 3 types of tonalities that if you want to be one of the top closers in our industry, you have to be able to master. Number 1 is going to be the curious tone. Now, I see this with so many of your guys' calls. So many of you guys, especially when you're getting started. And this is why you guys never close any deals and never get anybody to open up to you. And I've even seen this with experienced reps too, like companies doing, you know, multiple 10 figures per month. Their reps will sound like this. Okay, so walk me through. Do you live here? Is it a rental? Okay, what's going on with it? Why are you looking to sell? Ah, okay, gotcha, cool. And why is that important for you? And they sound like what? They sound like a robot. And when you sound like a robot and you sound like everybody else, the seller never opens up to you. Now, that's the curious tone. The curious tone, we have to ask it like we genuinely care. So the house, do you live there? Is it a rental for you? What's going on with it? Oh, really? Where are you headed next though? Interesting. Why there? This is a curious tone. I want you guys to type in a 1 in the chat if you see the difference between a monotone tone, head nodding, saying, gotcha, okay, in the curious tone. So if you are getting sellers right now that are not answering any of your questions, it's because you haven't mastered the curious tone. Now, the next one is the concern tone. So I talked about how do we get sellers into the emotional part of the brain that actually makes decisions, right? Because the emotional part of the brain makes decisions. How do we actually tap into that? It's by learning the concern tone. So think about this. Let's say that you talk to a seller. Let's say you were selling a house or you talk to a seller and the seller says, you're like, why are you looking to sell? And they go, yeah, my wife just passed away a couple of weeks ago and there's just a lot of memories in the property. And you go, oh, really? I'm sorry to hear that. How are you doing? And you say it like that tone with a curious tone. What's the seller going to think? Oh, really? I'm sorry to hear that. How are you doing? You guys let me know in the chat. What's the seller going to think if I ask the question with that type of tone? With a curious tone when they just, yeah, you don't care. What else? You think they're going to want to open up to me after that? Just trying to sell something? Obviously, you're a salesman that doesn't care. So you guys need to learn how to use a concern tone. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. It's got to be so difficult. How are you doing? Hold on, but there's been mold in the house for the last 3 months. How has that been for you though? Now, do you guys see the difference between those 2 different types of tone? And so if a seller opens up about a problem, but they do not go deeper on it, you're struggling to go deeper, it's because you don't know how to master the concern tone. Now, has anybody ever had a hostile seller? Like, just give me the offer, get off the phone. I get 15 calls a day on this. Type in a 1 if you guys have ever had that type of seller. I get 15 calls a day. Just give me an offer, get off the phone. Right? All right. So I'm going to show you guys how to disarm them with a playful tonality. Your playful tonality, you have to be able to use with these hostile sellers to disarm them. So if the seller says, oh, I get 5 calls a day on this, just give me an offer, get off the phone. And you're like, well, I'm trying to give you an offer, but I need to ask you some questions. Boom, click, hang up. If you're playful with them, whoa, hold on. You mean to tell me you didn't sign up to get 5 offers a day on this house? Is that what you're telling me? If you didn't sign up to get 5 calls a day? No, obviously I didn't. Yeah, you know what? A lot of the sellers that we've helped in the past have said that. And then I go into the rest of mine. Or if I'm going to ask a seller what they're doing with the money, I'm not going to be like, okay, and what are you doing with the money after the sale? I might say, well, hold on. You've owned this rental property for the last 5 years. It's cash flowing. It sounds like things are doing well for you. I mean, when you sell this property, you're just going to be moving to Tahiti, or what's the plan, man? Oh, no, I'm not moving to Tahiti. I'm doing this. And so you need to master the playful tone. So I want you guys to type in a one in the chat if you understand the importance of tonality. Type in a one if you guys see why your sellers are not opening up to you right now. All right. Now let's move into starting the call. All right. So it takes 7 seconds. This is what I want you to write down. It takes 7 seconds for a prospect to recognize a sales call. Now, our brain is hardwired to pick up on patterns. And it does this just to save energy. It's human nature. Our brain has pattern recognition. And so when you call somebody and they feel like you're a salesperson, let me ask you guys, when a salesperson calls you, does your guard go up or does your guard go down? Are you guys like, oh, let me just open up and tell them everything when a salesperson calls you? Do your goals go up? Type in the chat up. Or do they, oh, somebody said hung up. Okay, so you just hang up. But in general, do your walls go up or do you go down? And a lot of you guys are sitting there wondering why your sellers aren't opening up or why they're hanging up on you, right? And you guys are like, I would do the exact same thing. It's because you sound like a salesperson. So let me ask you guys, if somebody calls you, and this is what a lot of people teach, somebody calls you out of the blue and they say, hey, Vin, how are you doing today? Hey, Tawny, how are you doing today? What's the first thing you think in your brain? Call you completely out of the blue, right? Maybe like you did fill out a form, you don't remember it, but they call you kind of out of the blue. And they just say, hey, Johnny, how you doing today? Salesperson, right? Right at the beginning, salesperson. And then your walls go up. What if somebody called you and said, hey, this call's to see if we're a good fit, if I'm a good fit for you and you're a good fit for me? Who uses that? Salespeople, right? Or at the end of this call, I'm just going to give you an offer and I just ask for a hard yes or a hard no. Salespeople, right? And so, what you need to learn how to do is to lower the resistance with the seller in the first 7 to 15 seconds. So instead of saying, hey, Bob, how are you doing? Yeah. Hey, Bob, can you hear me? They're like, yeah, who's this? Yeah, it's just John, John Lalonde over at Selly's USA. Hey, it looks like you just filled out a form on our website about possibly selling a home on 123 Main Street. Is that right? And then they're going to, yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, it looks like you found us on Google, right? What caused you to maybe want to look into this a bit further? Now, I'm not going to be qualifying myself to them. I'm not going to be saying, hey, I want to give you an offer. I'm calling to give you an offer, or I'm interested in the property. Because when I say that, the seller says, okay, then give me the offer. Just give me the offer. I have the house. You obviously want the house. Give me the offer. And so I need to learn how to not sound like a salesperson. I need to flip the frame of the call to where I'm the one in the driver's seat. I want you guys to type in a one in the chat if you guys understand that. If you do not master this, none of this works, guys. If you don't learn how to lower resistance with the seller, none of this will work. You have to master this part. Okay. Now let's talk about the next part. How many of you guys a lot of you guys who are doing deals, right? How many of you guys have had months where you're like, I have a big month and then I have a low month, or I get one deal and then I get no deals and no deals, and then I get one deal and then no deal. Or, for example, you get like 5 deals and then 2 deals and then 3 deals and then 0 deals, but it's a roller coaster. Type in a one in the chat if that's happening to you right now, or if that's happened to you in the past. I'm going to show you guys how to solve that today. As you guys saw my CRM, I shared you guys my exact CRM, right? And you guys see how consistent it is. So I want you guys to write this down. An inconsistent process creates inconsistent results. An inconsistent process creates inconsistent results. And I will tell you guys, when I audit sales teams and I'm looking to see if they don't actually have a process they can follow, I look for this one thing. How many of you guys get stuck on your sales calls? You don't know where to go, and so you default to talking about the condition. You get stuck, you don't know where to go. So you start talking about the roof, you start talking about, the flooring or the condition of the home because you don't know where to go. Now, that is the number one telltale sign that you have inconsistency in your business. If you have an inconsistent process, if you don't have a consistent way to get to the motivation, to get the seller into that emotional state every single time, you are going to have an inconsistent business. A lot of people think, oh, well, this is just a business. It's just going to be inconsistent. It doesn't have to be if you have a consistent process, if your process works every single time. I want you guys to type in a 1 in the chat if you understand that. Now, this is how we do things differently with our process. Is we identify 3 avatars. Someone lives there, there's a rental property, or it's vacant. And we know we have questions we can ask each one of those sellers that are specific to them that will bring us into the problem impact. And so if it's a homeowner, I might say, oh, really? Where are you headed next? Oh, hold on. Why there, though? How long have you been thinking about that? I have this for every single seller. So I never get lost in my process. I have consistency every single time. All right. Now, before we go into the next part, I want you guys to type in a 1 if you understand that. Because the truth is, guys, if you don't have consistency in your business, 1, it's incredibly stressful. You don't know if you're going to be able to make payroll. You don't know if you have next month's marketing budget. You might not even know if you can pay your own self, right? And how are you going to hire A player talent if your business is inconsistent? You can't. You can't hire anybody if you have inconsistency in your business. Now, once we get the consistent process, we're going to go into emotional impact. Now, for you guys, this is the number one thing I want you guys to understand. And I want you guys to write this down. And I want you guys to put this at the top of your computer. I want you guys to write this down and put this on a sticky note somewhere on your computer. When you understand this concept, this is where you stop losing deals. All sellers are dogs sitting on a nail. All of our sellers are dogs sitting on a nail. Now, let me tell you guys where that comes from. I'm not calling sellers dogs. It's really everyone, right? So it comes from an old parable. And there's 2 guys, and they're sitting in his cabin, right? And there's a dog, and the dog's sitting in the corner. And the dog's sitting there, and the dog's whimpering. And eventually, the friend asked the owner of the dog, he goes, dude, why is your dog crying? And he goes, oh, he's sitting on a nail. He's like, well, why doesn't he just get up? He's like, well, it doesn't hurt him bad enough to get up. And that's every single one of our sellers. Everybody that fills out a form online, everyone that responds to a cold call, responds to a text, calls in on a piece of direct mail, every single one of them, there is a reason why they even answered the phone to begin with, why they even entertained a call with you, why they filled out a form. It's because they're sitting on a nail in some way. And if you don't learn how to get them to relive those pain points, they will never change. So let me ask you guys, we'll get a little personal for a second. How many of you guys have someone in your circle, your immediate family, somebody inside of your circle that maybe they're like super overweight and they smoke cigarettes, or they're just like extremely unhealthy, but they never change. They don't go to the gym. They don't fix their diet. Or maybe someone that's in a bad relationship, right? They're in that toxic relationship, but they don't leave that relationship, or they're in a dead end job and they don't leave that job. I know for me, I have a ton of people in my family that are literally diabetic and they do not change their diet at all. Type in a 1 if you guys have somebody that you know that relates to that. Now, same thing with my family. Why do you think they don't change? Why do you think these people don't change, guys? You guys tell me. The seller that, maybe they don't love their house. They don't love it, right? It's not in the best condition. But why do you think they don't change? I want you to write this down. People change when the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of change. People change when the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of change. And it goes the same thing with getting the seller to accept a discount on the property. And so here's what I mean by that. Let me ask you guys, does anybody have a dog and their dog is like their best friend? Type in a 1 in the chat. You have a dog and your dog is like your best friend in the entire world, or you treat your dog almost like they're a kid. There's always a couple of you guys that are like that. So type in a 1 in the chat. You're like, I have a dog and okay, a cat. Neo says a cat. Dog or cat, but either one, that will work. And so let me ask you guys, for you guys that feel like that you have like a dog or a cat, somebody, let's say that your cat or your dog needed an emergency surgery, right? It needed an emergency surgery. And this surgery was going to cost $5,000. Now you have the $5,000 in your bank account. Like you can pay it. Are you going to tell the vet, hey, I'm only going to do it for $2,000. If you can't do it for $2,000, I'm not going to move forward with this surgery. I'm just going to let the animal die. Let me know in the chat. For you guys that have a dog, you guys have a cat, you have something like some sort of pet where you're like, hey, if I had the money, I would still say I'm only doing it for two. All of you guys are paying the $5,000, right? Now, why would you, Neo? Why would you, Nick? Why would you, Robert? Justin, why? I'll tell you guys why. And this is the same concept that works for sellers. You understand that your quality of life will be better with that dog, with that cat, than the $5,000 will give you. That's it at the end of the day. Your quality of life will be better with that animal than if you just had the extra $5,000. Tony said the pain of losing the $5,000 is less than the pain of losing the pet. And it's the same exact thing for the sellers, right? When we can get them into the emotional part of their brain, that if they could sell this property, they could be closer to their kids. They could be closer to their grandkids. They can be in a better house, in a better neighborhood, in a safer neighborhood. They don't have any more financial stress anymore. This is where they sell to us based on the result and not just the price. I want you guys to type in a 1 in the chat if you guys get that. And Zach, I understand. I'm going to go over on time on this one. So type in a 1 in the chat if you guys get that. Now it's the same exact thing with sellers. Let me explain to you guys an example. So I had this seller who was in this house for 30 years without selling, tons of emotional attachment. And so I asked her, well, hold on, look, you've been here for 30 years. What came up recently that caused you to feel like you might want to sell the house now, though? And the seller's like, well, there's just a little bit of mold in it. And I was like, well, hold on, mold, like, is there a lot of mold? What's going on there? Oh, yeah, there's a lot of mold. How long has that been going on? Well, it's been the last 3 years. Well, you've had mold in the house for the last 3 years. How is that impacting you, though? And she goes, well, I just got back from the doctor and they told me that it's starting to get into my lungs and it's starting to get on my skin. And so I'm developing rashes and I'm developing a cough. Now, is the seller in the emotional part of their brain right now? Are they in the logical? Type in E for emotion, type in an L for logic. And how much more willing is this seller going to be to change their current situation, regardless of the price, because they need to fix their health? Much more, right? I want you guys to all understand the seller's in the emotional part of their brain. They're talking about their fear of their health, right? Now, when they're in the emotional part of their brain, they're talking about fear, they're talking about stress. They are much more motivated to move forward. I want you guys to type in a 1 in the chat if you guys understand that. And so a lot of you guys know that you're supposed to get the motivation. You ask the seller, why are you looking to sell? They tell you the motivation, and then you just say, okay, got it, and I move on. Did the seller get any emotional impact? Did they get into the emotional part of the brain when they do that? Yes or no? Absolutely not, right? Absolutely not. So we need to learn how to get them deeper into the problem. All right. So once you understand that, I'm going to show you guys how to sell a different type of seller. How many of you guys have ever had a seller that maybe they don't have a ton of problem with their current state? They don't have a ton of motivation. They still say they want to sell, but it's not like they're in foreclosure. They're not in distress. The house is fixed up and you don't know how to sell them. Type in a 1 in the chat if that's ever happened to you guys. You have a seller that's just like, I don't know. They don't really seem to have a lot of motivation. Do you guys want to learn how to sell those people? Because those are the people that the top 1% are closing. It just takes a different strategy. And so I'm going to show you guys a concept. And this is called the future state. So the difference between their current state and their future state is called the gap. And so if you guys wash my hands for a second, let's assume that this is where everybody's at. Now, their current state, when it gets bad, it goes to this side. When their future state, where it gets better, it goes to this side, right? And so if the seller is in foreclosure and the house has mold and it's in bad condition, you guys see the gap? Their current state is really bad. Doesn't really matter where their current state is really bad. Doesn't really matter where their future state is, right? Because they have that gap. Now, some people, their current state is not that bad. And so we need to sell them on getting to their future state. And I'll give you guys a perfect example of this. So a couple of years ago, I was in the market for a new car. Now, I was already driving a $60,000 Tesla, and I loved my Tesla. My Tesla was great, right? There was nothing wrong with my car. The only thing is my friends were going camping. My friends were going off-roading. They were going, up to Big Sur, Yosemite, dispersed camping, doing a bunch of fun stuff. And I couldn't take my Tesla because my Tesla has a battery underneath it, right? And so I decided, I wasn't really serious, but I just decided I was going to start scrolling online and start looking for a new car. And I found a Jeep Wrangler Rubicon. I was like, all right, that's a cool off-roading car. Now, I wasn't going to get rid of my Tesla. I love my Tesla. I was going to drive it, around to my houses and things like that. But I was like, okay, I'm going to start looking for a new car. Now, I was one of those buyers that the first thing that I did when I got to the lot was I said, look, I don't need a new car. I'm just looking, right? How many of you guys have ever had a seller that says, I don't need to sell? They're like, you look, I don't need to sell. I'm just kind of looking, I'm exploring my options. That was me, right? I was like, I don't need to sell. I don't need to buy. And so I go to the first dealership. There were two right across the street from each other in Huntington Beach. And they had very identical Jeeps. They were just slightly different shades of gray. Same miles, same price roughly. And I go to the first one, and the car dealership, the dealer, the sales guy, he's like, man, what are you looking for? I told him a Jeep Wrangler Rubicon. And he gets all excited. He's like, oh, dude, come over here. Let me show you this one. This one. And he shows me the Jeep that's on the floor, right? And he's like, dude, this one's got the upgraded stereo system. It's got the XYZ rims. It's got the hard top roof. It's got XYZ and ABC. It's got this one. You just press a button and the roof unfolds. It's got the 358 Hellcat engine. He just starts feature pushing me all these features. The same exact way a lot of you guys feature push your sellers. Well, this is a cash offer. This is, it's a 3-week close. You don't have to do any repairs, no inspections. You're just feature pushing, right? This is what the McDonald's closers do. They feature push. Now, do you guys feel like I bought the Jeep from that guy? Yes or no? Type in a Y or an N in the chat. We'll make sure everybody's awake. You guys want to learn how to close these people? Obviously not, right? So then I decided I was going to go across the street. I was like, I'm just going to take a look at the other one. Why not? And again, I was not serious. I told the guy, I was pretty turned off by this point. I told the guy, look, I'm probably not buying anything today. Like, I don't need to buy a new car. I just kind of want to just look at my options. And he goes, yeah, not a problem. What kind of car are you looking for? I was like, a Jeep Wrangler Rubicon. And he asked me a different question. He goes, well, what are you going to be using it for? And I was like, well, my friends go camping, they go off-roading. Oh, no way, dude. Where do they go off-roading? Oh, well, they go up to like Yosemite, Big Sur, kind of all around like the middle of California. Dude, how often do you guys go? Man, lately we've been going like every 2 weeks or so, at least 2 to 3 times a month. Man, that's so exciting. But how are you going right now? And if you're driving a Tesla? Oh, well, yeah, I have to sit in the shotgun of one of my friend's cars. Oh man, that sucks. Now, what is every car salesman's job to get you to do before they start talking about numbers, before they pre-qualify you, before they do any of that? What do they want you to do? You guys let me know in the chat. What do the salespeople want you to do before they start talking any numbers, before they start qualifying? Okay, so they trust you, but what do they? Oh, there we go. Eugene, iPhone, you guys got it. They want you to test drive it. Now, why do they want you to test drive the car? Why would they want you to test drive the car, guys? You guys let me know in the chat. Why do they want you to do that? There we go. Maria. They get you emotionally attached with it. They get you to feel you being the owner of that car, right? You guys have all been there. You're going look at your new car, you're driving it, and you're already thinking, man, driving this thing to work, pulling up, picking up my date or whatever you guys are going to do with it. You're visualizing yourself in the car. And when you visualize it, you get into the emotional part of your brain that actually makes decisions. And so this guy, as a smart car salesman, gets me to test drive it. And when I'm test driving it, he's going, oh, yeah, by the way, I know you said you wanted to go off-roading. This one's got the skid plates underneath it. You could literally go over rocks and not mess up the car at all. And, oh, you said that you wanted to go camping. This one's already got the roof rack. I found a tent that's on Amazon that can be there this weekend so you can go camping with your friends. How exciting is that? And he's getting me excited, emotionally attached to the car. Now, do you guys feel like I bought the car from this guy? Yes or no? Myra says she sells Jeep Wranglers. That's me, right? Pay this way too much for this Jeep at the top of the market because I was in the emotional state of mind. And I will tell you, the $60,000 that I paid for this Jeep gave me much more joy than keeping that $60,000 in my bank account. It was a positive for me. The same way we help sellers. And so one of the questions we will ask, and I'm going to walk you guys through that same seller. So the seller that had the mold in the house and she was starting to get sick, I asked her, I said, so let's say you're able to sell this house. You're no longer dealing with the mold and you're finally in your newly renovated home. I mean, what are you looking forward to the most about that next chapter of your life? And she goes, John, you know what? My family doesn't come over anymore. My kitchen doesn't work. I can't cook for them. But they told me that if I'm at this new house by Thanksgiving, they're all going to come over and I'm going to be able to cook a Thanksgiving meal for them. Oh my gosh. And how's that going to feel once you finally have your family all together? It's going to feel incredible. Now, you guys tell me, is this seller in the emotional part of their brain? Are they in the logical part of their brain? When they're thinking about sitting down with their family, being there for Thanksgiving dinner, being closer to their kids, spending more time with them, are they in the emotional part of the brain? Or are they in the logical part of the brain? They're in the emotional part of the brain, the part of the brain that wants to get the result and doesn't care about the price. Because the logical part of the brain, all the logical part of the brain wants to do is get the highest absolute value, and they're not thinking about, their kids or their family or their quality of life. It's the emotional part of the brain that gets there. I want you guys to type in a 1 in the chat if you understand that. You guys see the difference between what the top closers in the world are doing versus the McDonald's closers. All right. Now, I'm going to show you guys next. I'm going to show you guys one simple tweak that if you do this correctly, you're not going to get 5% discounts. You're not going to get 10% discounts. You're going to get 35% discounts, 40% discounts, 50% discounts every single time. So my average deal size last year, and you guys saw my profit and loss, my average deal size went from $30,000 to $50,000 with this one simple tweak. So I want to make sure everybody's awake before I share this. Type in a 1 in the chat if you guys want to see how to get 30 to 50% discounts every single time. All right, we got a ton of you guys. You guys are nice and awake. Now, let me ask you guys, how many of you right now are asking the seller, how much are you looking to get for the property? Type in a 1 in the chat if you're asking the seller, how much are you looking to get for the property? Now, I'll ask you guys, where does the seller's brain go to get that number? Where does the seller's brain go to find that number? Nick says logic, but like specifically, right? Yes, the logical part of their brain, but where do they go? Where do they go to find that number? Oves says Zillow, right? A real estate agent that told them that they could sell at 10% over market value, the comparables. Now, can you guys buy properties for the Zillow price and make money? Can you buy properties for what the realtor said that they can sell it for and make money? So why are you asking that question? Why would you ask that question? You're literally putting the seller into the wrong part of their brain. You are getting them to reverse anchor you and tell you the highest price that they can think of. But if you guys understand this one simple concept, you're not going to get 5% discounts. You are going to get 35 to 50% discounts consistently. And this is what the top closers are doing differently. I want you guys to write this down. We call it needs, anchor, and consequence. Needs, anchor, and consequence. So what we're going to do is we've already got the seller's problem impact. We've got their future state. We've got where they actually want to go, right? We got exactly what they're looking for. And we say, look, how's that going to feel once you finally are able to do that? We get them into the emotional part of the brain. And we say, well, look, at the end of the day, my goal is to be able to get you there. So walk me through, how much do you need in your pocket to be able to put down on that next property so that way you can be there by Thanksgiving? How much do you need in your pocket so that way you can buy that new rental property and you no longer have to deal with these bad tenants? How much do you need in your pocket to pay off all of your debt so that way you don't have to stress on these bills anymore? Now, at this point, is the seller thinking about the highest number possible? Are they thinking about what they need to solve the problem? Type in an H if you think it's the highest. Type in an N if you think they're focusing on their needs. Now, these are called bottom dollar needs. And this one change, I'll tell you guys, when I coach people live, this one change gets people to go from 500,000 down to 350,000, from 200,000 down to 100,000. So this seller that I was talking to, she thought her property was worth 460,000. She owed 300,000 on the property. And when I got her down to bottom dollar needs, she's like, well, realistically, I need to put 10% down on a $150,000 property, and I need enough to furnish it. Those were the things that she actually needed. Now, from there, I'll anchor on those needs, and I can ask them consequence questions if they say no. But I'll go into that a little bit later for you guys that stick around till the end. But I get my needs before I move on to anything. This is how I get seller bottom dollar needs. Now, type in a 1 in the chat if you guys feel like you'll be able to get bigger discounts just from this one thing alone. I know we've covered a ton of things today, but just from getting the bottom dollar needs. I want to make sure everybody's on the same page. So somebody asked me to repeat the question. Look, my goal at the end of the day is to be able to help you get there. So how much do you need in your pocket to put down on that next house so that way you can be there for Thanksgiving? How much do you need in your pocket to be able to do X, Y, and Z? And this is what the top closers are doing differently. This is how you get the seller to work with you based on the result and not just the price. So I want you guys to type in a 1 in the chat if you get that. I want to make sure everybody's awake. We're going to go. We got one more. We got the most important thing that we're saving for last. All right. So the most important thing we're saving for last, I'm saving this just for you guys that stayed till the end. How many of you guys are sick and tired of getting to the end of your call and getting hit with objections like I need to think about it? I need to go talk to a realtor. I need to go talk to other companies. I have to go, pray and do X and Y and Z. How many of you guys are sick and tired of that? How many of you guys at the beginning, we said, are losing deals to that right now and you're just done with it? What if I told you guys that there's a way to be able to overcome those objections before they ever come up? You guys want me to share that with you right now? You guys want to learn how the top closers are closing deals before they ever present the offer. Type in a 1 if you guys are ready for that. I'll make sure everybody's still awake. All right. So let me show you guys how the McDonald's closers are closing deals, or trying to close deals. This is what they're doing wrong. They're asking the seller how much they're looking for it. Seller says a number way too high 90% of the time. And then even when they do say a number that works, they go back and they say, all right, Mr. Seller, your property qualified for $256,000. And the seller does this. They write down $256,000. They put it in their back pocket. And what's the first thing that they think? You guys tell me, what's the first thing they think? You already gave them the offer. What's the first thing they think when they get that number? Camden, absolutely. I'm going to shop it. I need to think about it. Time to see if I can get a better offer. Maybe I can get something better, right? Now, I want you guys to understand this concept. Once you learn how to build problem impact, you learn how to build the future state, you get their bottom dollar needs, right? You go through all of this. You find out exactly what they're looking for. You have the carrot, all right? You have the answer to solve their problems. Now, when is the seller most likely to commit to you? Is it before you give them the carrot, or is it after you give them the carrot? Think about this. When your dog has a treat, when do they listen to you the best? Is it before you give them the treat, or is it after they give you the treat? After you give them the treat. It's before, right? And so this is where you get a commitment. And I want you guys to write this down. The deal is closed before you ever give the offer. Now, when you learn this process, the seller is selling themselves to you. You are letting them know if you can help instead of the other way around, because we have the carrot at this point. So this is how you get a commitment before you ever present the offer. You say, okay, well, let's say I can get you the $30,000 that you needed to put down on that next house. Let's say we can do it in the next 3 weeks, so you're there by Thanksgiving. And let's say we help you with all of your stuff. I know you said you needed help with that. If we could do all of that for you, what would be your biggest concern at that point? Now, you guys tell me, why would I ask that question? Why would I ask the question, what would be your biggest concern? I'm saving the absolute best part for last. Why would I ask that question? What would be your biggest concern at that point? I want you guys to let me know in the chat if you guys can figure this out. Expert home buyer. Nailed it. I'm going to find out the true objection. I'm going to clear it so that way I can close them. Oh, what's up, Yusuf? So I'm going to find out their true objection. I'm going to clear it so that way I can close them. Right? So the seller might say, so what's your biggest concern at that point? The seller's like, well, I just want to know that you're going to close. Hey, well, look, I'm really glad that you brought that up, because as you know, there are so many companies out there that will put a high number on a piece of paper and they have no intention on closing. So help me understand, what would you be looking for to know with 100% certainty that this is going to close? Oh, well, I guess I want reviews. I want testimonials, maybe some closing statements. Okay, well, let's say I can show you that. Let's say I show you the reviews, show you the credibility. I get the money that you needed to be able to buy the next house, and we do this in the next 3 weeks. If I do all of that for you, what would be your biggest concern then? I don't have any concerns. Well, then walk me through what would you want the next steps to be? And I'm letting them close themselves. And so I want you guys to type in a 1 in the chat if you guys understand that. I want you guys to type in a 1 in the chat if you understand how I am closing deals before I ever give the offer. All right. How many of you guys feel like you'll be able to close more deals just with that one technique? Type in a 1 if you feel like you can close more deals with just that one last technique. So I have a special treat for you guys. I'm going to go into live Q&A. I'm going to go through a lot of stuff at the end, right? So for you guys that didn't get anything, you guys will be able to ask questions in live Q&A. So that's what we're going to do next. But I want to make sure that I kept my promise today. So far on this call, we just covered the exact tonality you need to use to get sellers into the emotional part of their brain. Type in a 1 in the chat. That was a game changer for you guys. We talked about how to start the call to not sound like everybody else. We talked about how to create consistency in your business to close deals every single time. We talked about how to get the seller away from the price and into result-based thinking by getting the emotional impact. Type in a 1 in the chat. That was a game changer for you guys. You're like, that alone is going to help me close more deals. We talked about how to get them into future state, how to close those people that are more future driven instead of problem impact driven. We talked about how to get their bottom dollar needs. Type in a 1 if you are no longer going to be asking them how much they're looking to get for it, and you're going to be going into bottom dollar needs to get steep discounts on your properties. And then the last thing we talked about is how to get the commitment so you don't get hit with objections once you present your offer. I want you guys to type in a 1 in the chat. So I want to ask you guys, my goal was to help you close at least one more deal this month using this process. So type in a 1. How many of you guys feel like we did that today? Dan says 13. Type in a 1 if you guys feel like you'll be able to close one more deal after what we learned today. Wow. Okay. So we have a ton of people, right? Abdul said 20. Type in how many more deals you guys feel like you're going to close this month. Shoot, trying to close so you feel more clip, at least one more, right? So here's the thing, guys. You guys will absolutely be able to close more deals. There's no denying that. But who's sitting here right now and you're like, man, I just need a little bit more. Like, yeah, I get the principles, but I want the scripts, right? I want like the actual scripts. Or John, can I hear a live call? Like type in a 1 if you guys want to hear this actually in practice. Like you want to hear a live call. Or like how many of you guys are sitting there and you're like, man, I want to be able to role play this. I want to be able to actually practice this. Because here's the interesting thing about this, guys. The difference between being a level 5 out of 10 salesperson and a level 10 out of 10 salesperson isn't 50%. If you guys go up against me or one of our advanced students, and you guys are at a 2 out of 10 and they're at a 10 out of 10, you're not going to get 2 out of 10 deals and they're going to get 10 out of 10 deals. They're going to get all of them and you're not going to get any. It's like when you're gold or silver, the gold gets everything, the silver gets nothing. And so I've had somebody, and this is one of the guys that I hired on my team. He had gone through, he'd watched all the YouTube videos, he'd watched the Instagram, he kind of consumed all the content, and he was closing some deals. He was just wildly inconsistent. And so I decided to take a chance on him. I brought him onto my team. I gave him the entire process. And within 30 days, he locked up 10 contracts. 10 contracts in his first 30 days. And this is exactly what he said. He's like, I had all the wires, right? I was an electrician trying to fix a house. I had all the wires, but it wasn't until I put them in the right place that I had the entire system that everything clicked, right? How do I actually get into problem impact? What are the exact word tracks? How do I actually get into future state? How do I handle objections? And so what I can do for you guys, would you guys like if I shared with you how we're training the top companies in the country? How my team is doing 6 figures profit this month with this exact process. Type in a 1 in the chat if you guys want to see how we're training some of the top companies in the country. Okay. Wow. We got a ton of people. So I'm going to break it down really simple for you guys into 3 processes. So the first part is we give you access to all of the virtual resources. So type in a 1 if you were one of the people that wanted the scripts. Outbound scripts, cold call scripts, inbound scripts. You want the exact scripts. So that's the first thing that we give you. We give you the scripts. We give you 20 to 40 hours worth of virtual training for you to go through and actually retain the information. And I'm talking about live seller calls. I'm talking about virtual trainings, everything that you need to actually implement this. We're going to give you the systems and processes, the KPI tracking, the CRM setup, all of the virtual things for you to be able to implement this into your business today. Now, the second thing is once you have that stuff, it's kind of crazy that every other industry, they practice every single day. Now, you guys let me know, how often do McDonald's workers practice flipping burgers? Never, right? How often does the NFL practice? For you guys that are sports fans, you guys let me know, like Olympic gymnasts or NFL football players, how often do they practice? You guys let me know in the chat. 2 times a day. So Eugene says daily. The top closers in the country, the people that are crushing it in today's market, are doing the exact same thing. So we will actually role play with you. We will coach you on the objection handling, the scripts, the processes. You'll be able to ask me anything, walk through your specific deals, and we will listen to your calls every single day. Every single day, we'll give you sales training. Now, once you have that, so who here is like, I wanted to be able to practice? Type in a 1 in the chat. If you could practice this every single day, the next time that you have a deal that's on the line, you have a seller that hits you with an objection, you want to be able to hop on a call with me and have me coach you through exactly what to say. I want you guys to go check out my Instagram. I just posted a story today of a guy named Watson. And Watson literally, like, this is on my story. Let's see if I can see this. Just posted his DocuSign, and he had a seller that he didn't know how to close, hopped on one of these calls to make $30,000. Now, here's the last part. How many of you guys want to actually scale a real business? So you want to scale your business. You want to be able to get some of your time back. You want to grow a team. Maybe you want to live in another country. You want to be able to travel with your family. Type in a 1 if that's why you guys got into it. Because what I didn't show you guys, maybe I did, all of the deals that were locked up in my CRM, I didn't close any of those. My team closed those. And I get to go on vacation with my family while my business still grows. And that's the third pillar. The third pillar is advanced leadership and scaling support. And so I showed you guys my numbers where I'm doing 6 figures profit. We also have a coach inside of our business, inside of our group, that has built a wholesaling company to $2 million per month. Now, how many of you guys feel like you could scale a business faster if you had me coaching you on the systems, on the processes, on the KPIs, on everything that you need to be able to scale an actual business that runs without you? Type in a 1 in the chat if that's what you're looking for. A lot of you guys. And so here's what we're going to do. This is going to be first come, first serve. Zach's going to drop a link inside the chat. So I want you guys to go look at this right now. Here's the link inside of the chat. You guys are going to be able to book a free strategy session with my team. And so we're going to go over exactly, we're going to dive into your business and look at everything. Now, not only that, there are 86 of you guys on right now. I am not going to be able to do 86 calls. There's just no way. I don't have the calendar availability. But for the first 15 of you guys that book a call and show up, I told you guys I was going to give you access to a bunch of free resources, right? So those free resources, if you're one of the first 15 people that book, you are going to get a free trial to our school community that has 20 hours worth of content plus direct access to me. This is where you'll get all of the scripts, all of the processes. You guys will get everything that I just brought up earlier. Plus, on top of that, you're going to get $500 in discount tools like PPL providers, CRMs, Dispo tools, and much, much more. Now I'm going to show you guys I'll show you guys something interesting. Just one of the guys inside of our group. This is a call. I want you guys to look at the date. This is yesterday. This is one of our advanced students that's in our one-on-one. So we were doing a one-on-one with him. He wanted help with his script. And this is how the call started. Would you guys like if I shared that for a second? I want you guys to just watch this. I haven't even had time to edit it yet. Can you guys hear it? No, you can't hear it. Hold on. What'd you actually hit? Like, I know you're losing
$250,000 in revenue.
Woo! Let's go, baby.
Yeah, we're pretty excited, man. Let's go.
What were you before you joined the program? You guys hear it now?
Losing money.
What'd you actually hit? Like, I know you were losing. Oh, yeah, you were not profitable when you came in. What was your top line?
I mean, it was probably, I think in like top line revenue, we were doing, I don't even know, but it was not a lot.
It was low six figures, right? Like 150 or something. You're going to do 750 this year?
Yeah, we'll do that. And I think actual profit will be right around $500,000.
Damn, bro. Yeah. Let's go, baby. How many of you guys want to go from unprofitable to $500,000 in profit, $50,000 per month in profit this year? I want you guys to type in a 1 in the chat. Who wants to hit $50,000 a month profit this year? I'm going to show you guys some other people inside the group. Now, I see some of you guys already booked. This has been. So after my first call with John and a little bit of a role play, I reached back out to this seller and I got a $45,000 discount using this needs-based selling strategy. This will be a $35,000 assignment instead of a dead lead. How many of you guys right now feel like you might have leads in your CRM already that all you need is one call, just like Ben, one call that you could turn into a $35,000 assignment? Type in a 1 in the chat if you feel like there's at least one opportunity that you could turn into a $35,000 assignment if you had this level of training. See a lot of ones. Tawny, Mario, Justin, Amato, Abdul. Abdul, you said 5. You got 5 already. And I see a lot of you guys have already booked. So how many of you guys are sitting there and you're struggling to get your first deal? Type in a 1 in the chat. You're struggling to get your first deal. Some of you guys have, a lot of you guys. So Chris was right there with you guys, right? Chris was cold calling for 12 months. 12 months he was cold calling. No success. 3 weeks into our program, literally 21 days into our program, he got his first wholesale deal. 3 weeks in, just by changing his sales process. And that can be you guys too. Now, some of you guys are closing these baby deals, right? These $3,000, $5,000, $7,000 assignments. This is Oscar. So Oscar, within just a couple of weeks, I closed my biggest deal today at $37,000. He was closing $9,000 deals, $7,000 deals. Type in a 1 in the chat if $37,000 would change your business and change your life right now. $37,000 assignment. Now, this is Patrick. Patrick came to us doing $100,000 a year in just one quarter, 50K one month, 40K the next month, 80K the month of March. Our June, probably the best thing I've ever spent money on. Adon, been a part of a lot of groups and it's rare to get this much value. Andrew said, thank you for your teachings. I have $87,000 in contract value set to close. Now, this was my epiphany, guys. You guys mind if I share with you a story of how I got started into this? Type in a 1 if you guys are cool with that. You guys want to hear how I actually got into this? Because unfortunately, I was not an overnight success. So in 2020, I started, basically in 2019, I started this business and I was working a full-time job. And so I only had after hours. And I was talking to 10 to 20 sellers every single day. I was mass texting. I was talking to a bunch of people. And I went 8 months without closing a deal. And I had spent my own hard-earned money. I'd invested in courses. I did all these things. 8 months without closing a deal. And then finally, I closed a $4,000 deal, which allowed me just to start over again. And so as I started getting some traction into 2020 and 2022, I started flipping properties. And I got to the point where I could, in 2020, if you guys know people that were doing deals back then, you could throw a rock and you could land a flip. And so I was buying houses basically 95% of the Zillow price. I would fix them up and I'd make money on them because the market was so good. And that was awesome until it wasn't. And at the end of 2022, a lot of you guys remember this. Interest rates shot up from about 2% all the way to 6%, 7%. And I had 5 active flips in Southern California. And at this point, all of my houses were sitting. None of them were selling. And at the end of the year, I had to fire sale all of them. And once the dust settled, I literally lost $600,000. I was $600,000 in debt. Now, some of you guys might be sitting there. You're like, I'm $20,000 in debt. I'm at $80,000 in debt. Some of you guys, every time I tell this story, I always get somebody that comes up to me after and they tell me that they're in a similar spot right now, which is why I tell this story. And the problem is I was taking out hard money loans at 90%. I was using other people's money. So I had to pay back all of these investors and I had no money to my name. And I was trying to go through and close some wholesale deals using this old broken process of the 4 pillars. I was asking them the condition, how much they're looking to get for it. And I wasn't closing anything. Like literally in January, I made $0. This is January of 2023. But what I did is I reached out to some friends and I asked them, what are you guys doing to make money in this market? What is different? And at first I thought it was the marketing, but everybody was doing the same exact marketing. They were all cold calling, doing SMS, Facebook, PPC, direct mail. I was doing all of those. Still not working. And I thought it might be the processes. And then I realized that everybody's processes were roughly the same. They were calling their leads within 3 minutes. They were following up with them. And I was doing that too. Finally, I reached out to my buddy Adam. I'm still great friends with him. And he goes, dude, this is just a marketing and sales game. And we all have the same marketing. The person that wins is the one that can convert leads the best. Now, I'd already invested in all of the other trainings, all of the basic real estate sales training that wasn't working for me. So I decided to take a gamble and I put $18,000 on a credit card and invested in Jeremy's inner circle. I was $18,000 more in debt at this point. But what I was able to do is I was able to go through my old leads that I had already made offers on, and I locked up 4 contracts in my first 30 days. And that turned in to $46,000 in revenue in month 1. You guys can see $33,000 profit. And then in March of 2023, I hit my first $141,000 month. Most importantly, guys, in 6 months, I paid off all $600,000 of debt. And for you guys that didn't see at the beginning, my business is now making over 7 figures per year net profit. Now, notice my income, $190,000 in revenue, but 7 figures per year net profit. And so a lot of you guys are sitting there right now and you have a choice, right? You can continue doing the thing that's not working. You can sound like every other investor, or you can make the decision right now that will actually change your life. You can master the skill that allows my business to do what I'm showing you guys right now. And most importantly, allowed me to get out of $600,000 in debt. And again, for the first 15 of you guys that book, you guys are going to get access to the school community. You're going to get access to our scripts. You're going to get access to our processes. All you need to do is show up. So click the link below and you guys can get results just like this. So this is Matt Cresco. Matt, I told you guys we trained some of the largest companies in the country. Matt was already doing $300,000 a month. I want you to read this text. He was officially clipping at 20. Now he's officially clipping at 25%, which means he's closing 25% of all of his leads. Just last quarter, his team was closing at 12.5%. What do you guys feel like happens to your profit at $300,000 if you double your close rate? What do you guys feel like would happen at $300,000 if you doubled your close rate? It doubles your profit. Imagine what that does for his business. Jamari went from doing $300,000 a year to this year on track to do 7 figures with 78% profit margin. Adam went from doing $1 million a year to on track to break $2 million a year at 50% profit margin. Watson, who I showed you guys earlier, he was barely closing a deal a month. And that's a lot of you guys. Like, he was inconsistent, doing ups and down months. Close a deal 1 month, no deal the next month. Close 2 deals, no deals for 3 months. Wildly inconsistent. Now, every single month, he closes 2 to 3 deals. All he needed to do was master the one skill that actually converts deals. And so if you haven't already, you're going to click the link below. I'm going to actually walk you guys through exactly how this process works. So you click the link below, you're going to see the option to book a free strategy session. So Zach's going to drop that in the chat. So Sung Jae said, where's the link? You guys are going to see something that looks like this. You're going to go ahead, you're going to fill this out. So you're going to put your name, you're going to put your number. I'm not going to put my real number right here because I only give that. I do give that to my advanced students, so you guys can text me and ask me questions, but I'm not going to give it away right now. You put in what is your current monthly revenue average over the last 90 days. You're going to fill that out. We want to know what you're actually trying to do. This is going to help us give you the best information, where it's going to help us give you the best guidance on what you want your business to do. So put in what your target monthly revenue is, put in what you're actually looking to get out of it. And then from there, you guys will see a calendar. So make sure you're honest about your marketing budget. That's going to help us give you the best strategy. And looks like we are literally already completely booked for this month. So a lot of you guys already booked. Zach, do we have any spots, or did the 15 already get taken?
Yeah, so you got to make sure you go to November. We have one
Okay.
left.
So we only have a couple of spots left. So make sure you guys go into November. This is how you guys are going to be able to book your call. You're going to book your call right here. You're going to see a couple of spots. And then again, for the first 15 of you guys that join, I'm not going to be able to take all of you guys. So for the first 15 of you guys that join, you guys are going to book a call. You are going to get free trial for our school community for 7 days, which has all of the scripts inside of there, all of the objection handles. It has all of the calls. You guys will be able to see live calls inside of there, has the black book of questions and everything. So Elias, how do you know if you're the first 15? For you guys that booked, I know for sure that I'm among the first 15. Yeah, you booked quickly. Go ahead and type book in the chat. Zach, we still have, how many spots do we have left for the people that have actually booked a call? Okay, I'll see a lot of people that have booked already. Do we have any left that are going to get the free trial?
Free trial? Yeah, there might be one. It doesn't look like it though.
There might be one more. So if you guys haven't booked already, it looks like that there's one more inside there. So we're going to copy that. We're going to put that in the chat, and you guys will be able to do it. Zach, what do you think, man? I'm feeling kind of nice today. I see way more than 15 people that have already booked a call. Should we be nice and give another 5 people the opportunity to get the free trial? You tell me. You're the community manager. You have to onboard these people. You tell me. Should we be nice today?
Let's
Want to do it?
I think
Okay.
we should do it.
So I'm going to open it up to 5 more of you guys. You guys can see we're already completely booked for the rest of this month. We're going to be going into next month. You guys make sure that you get on right now because it's first come, first serve. I'm going to give 5 more of you guys the opportunity to be able to show up, get the free strategy session, and get a free trial to our school community. You'll get the 7-day free trial all the way at the end. So if you guys haven't already, go ahead and click that link in the chat. And you guys, Sung Jae probably just got number 16. So it looks like there's going to be 4 more. And we're going to go into open Q&A where you guys can literally ask any sort of questions. Sung, you're in. Zach, Sung, I think you're going to be in. So for Q&A, make sure you drop it inside of the chat. You are in, and let's do this. All right. So you guys are going to get access. By the way, just one of the tool, I don't know if I brought this up, but if you guys get the free trial, we also have, if you guys are brand new, like you're just getting started, we have $500 in discount codes on like PPL providers to give you leads. CRM providers, dispo tools, like much, much more. We have all of that stuff for you. So if you're just getting started, that works for you. I know a lot of you guys, it looks like Zach's saying a lot of you guys are super high level that you actually want to scale the business. So we could talk about that as well. So I'm going to leave this up. We're going to go into the Q&A. If you haven't already, there's going to be, it looks like there's, I see 2 more. So there's 3 more spots for you guys to be able to book and you guys to be able to talk to my team. And we're going to go into Q&A in the meantime. So we've got about 15 minutes to do Q&A for you guys. So let's see. Yusuf, for the Q&A, I had a question. I used to use a more direct style, but since switching to NEPQ style, calls have gone way longer. But I wanted to ask you how long. Let me ask you this, Yusuf. I'm going to pull you off mute because I know you're in one of our communities. First of all, where are you at? Expert home buyers. You want to come off mute, Yusuf? I just allowed you to talk.
Hey, what's up, man?
So what have you been noticing? I know you just started to use this process. You said that your calls have been going way longer. What have you been noticing inside of your calls?
Well, the reason that they're going longer is just due to sellers opening up more
Yeah.
and letting them. I mean, I never, and my sales reps have never like interrupted people when they speak, but the type of open-ended questions and sort of really showing concern makes them open up a lot more. So we're letting them talk way more than they typically do. So that's what causes them to go longer. And also, we do ask a few more,
Yeah.
diving into their pain point questions and painting their future picture questions. So that's what's making it go longer.
And would you say that that's a bad thing, or would you say it's a good thing that your sellers are opening up and they're more motivated?
It's a good thing, definitely.
Definitely a good thing, right? And so for you guys like that aren't having sellers open up, when did you just joined our community? How long ago did you join?
Well, I like this school community I joined, I don't know, just a few days ago,
So you're
but
already starting to implement some of the stuff in just a couple of days. Awesome stuff, man.
I implemented, yeah, because off of Jeremy's, I mean, your script yet, but I started like using Jeremy's NEPQ maybe like a week and a half ago max. Yeah.
Nice, man. So yeah, so now I'll answer your question. I appreciate you sharing that for everybody
Yeah.
that they haven't had that experience yet. Their sellers are probably similar. They're not opening up, and that's what they're trying to get out of this. But they
Mhm.
should be going longer, bro. So like our average call, on average, we're getting at least 45 minutes in before we're ever even presenting an offer. So about
Yeah.
45 minutes before you present the offer. Then you've got the offer presentation, which we didn't even get into today, but obviously that's inside. We teach that to all of our advanced students. And then you're going to have, if you have any sort of objection handling at the end, another 10, 15 minutes. So from lead in to contract, 90 minutes is about the average if you're doing this
Oh, that's what I was
correctly.
gonna ask because mine were going from like 40 to 45 and we
Mhm.
got one like on Tuesday and I was reviewing it, dude. It was like a 96-minute call or something ridiculous. I was like, "Jeez." But it's a
Yeah,
good
man. That's what happens when you start milking every single one of your leads, right? Because
Yeah.
what a lot of people are doing right now is they're just calling, they're having 20-minute conversations. And be real with me, bro. Can you really get any real motivation, any real future state in 20 minutes?
No, you just cover the bases, like the facts of the property and the condition and their situation. There's not really much you can cover in 20 minutes, no.
And who are they gonna work with? The person that had a 90-minute call that they trust, or somebody that had a 20-minute call? That sounds like everyone else.
Yeah, someone that's to somebody that they've poured their emotions into already and splurred out for 90 minutes, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. So does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Yep.
Awesome, man. Appreciate you coming on and sharing that. I just saw I saw him in one of our communities earlier. So you guys see that literally just 5 days. He's already getting sellers. How many of you guys right now are having 15 to 20-minute calls and you're wondering why you're not closing deals? Type in a 1 in the chat if that's you right now. You're just having like these brief calls. Sellers aren't really opening up to you. You're just having like, basic surface level calls. Type in a 1. I want to see who's going to be honest in here. Sung, a bunch of you guys, right? And so this process is going to teach you how to get sellers to open up. And he just did that in the first 5 days. So our Palumbo, you haven't made a call yet. Now we can talk about that in a second. Let me go through some of the other questions. I have so much more confidence. I love that, Tawny. Need to ask next. Oh, Elias, you want to ask a question? Elias, what's your question, bro? Or I think you're.
Yeah, can you hear
Oh
me?
yeah. What's up, bro?
Yeah, man. I actually have a deal right now that like we're literally so close and had it great, but then our team we messed up our process by not confirming. Like, hey, if I can get you approved for this, we had offered a low ball and we came up a bit. Like, hey, if I can get you approved for this, can we come back? So we didn't do that process and we just came up. And then my boss got on the phone and tried to play like the boss guy and just came up without doing the process as well. And now we're
Ah.
in a spot where this dude is literally like, I mean, dude, he has, no money. He needs to get to Michigan. He has no money for bills or income, but he's still like, oh, it's not enough. And I'm like, what the fuck else do I say to this guy? Like, he needs it, but like, we kind of fucked up our process.
Yeah. So first of all, I'm going to show you how to overcome the objection in a second. But before I do that, I want to reiterate the importance of what you did. So, like every time you do that thing, right, where you skip part of the process,
Mhm.
that's another deal that could go to somebody else, right? Like if it goes on my team's not letting that go because we
Right.
follow the process every time. Now, let me ask you this, man. I'll ask you, have you ever seen Horrible Bosses? You ever seen that
Nah.
movie? All right. For you guys that have seen Horrible Bosses, there's a guy named Motherfucker Jones. And the way that he negotiates is that he'll tell the guys, he'll be like, all right, it costs $20,000. And they're like, oh, no, that's way too expensive. And then he's like, all right, $5,000. And he just drops the price. And the same thing when we tell our seller, hey, we got you approved for $200,000. And they're like, that's not enough. And then we just go right up and we say, okay, what about 220,000? What are they going to think in their brain?
Right. Yeah. It's like dropping the Zillow price. We're cooked.
It's exactly. It's like, oh, well, then how much more could I get? Right. And so if you don't ask that commitment before you go up on price, that's just going to happen to you. That's going to happen to a lot of these people that don't learn this process. Now, that being said, you need to break down the price and you need to go back into needs. All right. This is how you are going to save that deal for your company, Elias. You're going to do this. You're going to say, okay, so walk me through. I understand that it's not enough money for you. What are you actually trying to accomplish at the end of the day, Elias? Role
For
play with me
him,
for a second.
him or oh yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
role
I just
play.
need to get to Michigan and I need to have money for these bills to finally get there.
Well, look, at the end of the day, that's my entire goal is to be able to help you pay off the bills and help you get to Michigan. And if I can't do that, man, I'll just tell you at the end of the day. But I do want to see if I can help you because I'll be able to sleep better at night if I can. So, how much are your actual bills? How much do those cost?
Well, I just need 5,000 to get to Michigan. I can stay with my aunt, and I just need enough for the down payment on my house I'm looking for.
Okay, how much is the house that you're looking for?
He hasn't looked for the house yet, so I haven't looked for the house yet.
All right, well, look, let's do this because obviously we're going to need to be able to find a house, right? We're not going to like kick you out on the streets. We probably need to help you find a house. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, yeah.
So now I'm going to pull up houses on Zillow. I'm going to find him one and I'm going to go, okay, now most of our clients, they put down 3.5% on the FHA loan. So this house is 100,000, 3.5%. That would be roughly $3,500, right? So let's say I could get you the $3,500 in your pocket to be able to buy that next house. And I can give you the 5 grand to be able to pay off all your debt. If I could do that for you, do you see how that would put you in a better position than you're in right now?
Yeah, I mean, I can.
And why do you feel like it would?
Because I finally won't have, I have no income. I can't do anything else. I can finally be done with this.
And that's the most important thing at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to help you do that. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to type up an agreement outlining everything we just discussed. I'm going to send it over to you. Go with it line by line. That way you're comfortable with everything. And once we're through that, I'm going to start walking you through the next steps. Would that help?
Yeah, for sure.
Let me ask you this. If I did that to that seller, how confident are you that I'd be able to close that deal?
Yeah, probably pretty confident.
Right. How much money is that deal going to make the company?
20K.
How much?
20K.
40?
No, 20.
20? All right.
Yeah.
So there's $20,000 right there. Did you book a call yet, by the way?
Yeah, I already booked.
Make sure you role play that too. So if you guys have sellers, I know a lot of you guys have questions. Like our team is the best trained in the world on this process. So first off, type in a 1 if you guys, I know it's probably over some of your heads, but type in a 1 if you guys see how that's going to help you close more deals, being able to objection handle like I just did. Type in a 1 in the chat if you're like, hell yeah, I got to see it live, got to see a little bit, right? That's just one role play that can make him another $20,000. Now, Elias is going to be able to talk to our reps and be able to figure out the number one thing that he needs to do to be able to close more deals. So, Elias, you're going to crush it, man. I'm super excited for you. I love that you already went through some of that stuff. And it sounds like you're starting to try to implement the process. You just need to put the wires together and you're going to be an animal, brother. Great job.
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, good job. All right, let me go to the next person. So let me go to Z. Z's iPhone. And by the way, if you guys haven't booked yet, Zach, I know I gave them another what, five spots, and I think we had 3 left. Do we have any of those left?
I think we've got one, but we're really pushing this calendar, dude.
How much time do we need to open up some more spots?
I opened it, but we're going into Thursday.
Okay. So you guys will go into your Q&A. Zach's going to drop a link in the chat if you guys haven't booked yet. If you guys want to objection handle like I just did, you're going to need to book a call. There's no other way to learn it other than being able to practice it every single time. So JT just said book a call. I don't know if you're just saying that you booked, but we pretty much have like 3 spots left for you guys that haven't booked so far. And those are going to be taken up by the end of this call. So Z, what's up, man? How can I help? You can come off mute, Z. You should be able to. Ask to unmute. All right. Z is having some technical difficulties, I think. Let's see if he's yep, it doesn't look like he's there. Somebody said me next, please. Abdullah. All right, Abdullah, you're up. What's up, Abdullah?
Hey, how's it going?
Love your name, by the way. How can I help?
So I have like a seller that I'm gonna be like I've spoken to like a bunch in the past. Like this deal's been going on for like 2 or 3 weeks now. I've been speaking with him.
Okay.
Finally we're getting to like the price part. And he's
We
not
can see your screen,
he
John.
have like
Oh,
he doesn't
sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, so he doesn't have like too much motivation from what I talked to him with. He just
Let me
has,
ask
like,
you this. Why is he looking to sell?
so he lives in another house. He lives 8 minutes away.
Okay.
And then he's trying to sell this house. Kind of like, just resting, but there was no urgency from what I found out.
So first of
And
all, brother, urgency is not always there at the service level. You have to build the urgency. So, I might ask the first question. Let me ask, did you ask this? So yeah, and a lot of people that we speak to, they don't really mind having a house 8 minutes away that's sitting there vacant. I mean, why is it important for you to sell the house?
yeah,
Did you ask that
no,
question?
no, I
So if you
haven't,
don't
no.
ask that question, do you see how there's not going to be any urgency built because we didn't find out that part?
Yeah.
And then also, when he sells it, what's he going to be doing with the money?
So it's really like looking to like retire kind of.
Mhm.
Because he just wants to stay in one place. He has 2 properties, one in Ohio and then one in Florida. So he wanted to sell the Ohio one. Then he's looking to, with us sell the Florida one.
Yep.
So
So what's his life going to be like once he retires?
he would be like almost like a millionaire with like the money he will get. Like
Yeah, but millionaire, that's just a title. Like what's actually going to change for him once he retires? How's that going to feel once he retires? Did you ask those questions about getting him into his future state, getting him into the emotional impact of how it's going to be once he actually retires?
no, I haven't. Like
So I will tell you, I could walk through how to objection handle somebody, but if you guys do not learn how to build problem impact in future state, you have nothing to use in your objection handle. There's nothing
Mhm.
there. You won't be able to objection handle. You have to build the urgency to even learn how to objection handle. So if you didn't ask those questions that I was saying, you're going to have to go back. That's going to be my advice to you, is to go
Mhm.
back. And man, a lot of people that, they just don't mind. They'll keep the properties, they'll rent them out. Like, what caused you to maybe want to look into selling this now, though? What caused you to
Uh-huh.
maybe want to look into this now? And let's say you do
Mhm.
sell, you retire. What are you looking forward to the most about retirement? Man, how's
Yeah.
that going to feel once you're finally retired? You see what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
we're building
Uh-huh.
that gap. Then he's going to have urgency to sell.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Because right now, we're in like he's in like we're kind of in like the price stage. And from our price, he's not far. Like he's one of those like the 5% where we use that same process that everyone uses, and
Yep.
he's at like that price where it could make sense. We would make a good amount of money.
Yeah. So the thing is this is like the worst case scenario, and this does
Hmm.
happen sometimes,
Yeah.
is he can even be in range of price. And because you didn't build any urgency, you give him the
Uh-huh.
offer and he still wants to shop it, even though you
Mm.
gave him what he is asking. I have
Yeah.
seen that from people that don't understand the right process is you give the seller even what they're asking and they ghost you or they still try to shop you because there's
Yeah.
no urgency. So you have to, even though you're already at the price stage, you have to go back and you have to build that urgency. You got to build that urgency up, then go back into price.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Like, I'm gonna try to build that. Like, I have the phone call booked,
Yeah.
like for tomorrow.
Yep.
I might,
When
I
did you
might,
book a call? When did you book a call with our team?
Thursday, like no, Friday, 5 o'clock.
If you can, we might not have any spots. Um, but I mean, think about it like this. I don't know if you saw this right here. This is like a very common thing for our students. So, like this testimonial that I shared, Ben, he just had just one call with me, and he
Uh-huh.
was able to get a $45,000 discount and a $35,000 average spread. Now, I had the exact same thing happen. If you guys go to my Instagram and you guys go look up John Lalonde 22, you guys will see this post right here that I don't know if you guys can see it. It's super blurry. But that's Watson, who basically the same thing, one call and was able to get a contract signed. So I would try to maybe move that call till later till you actually get to speak to my team because they're going to be able to role play practice with you. So that way you have the right tools to be able to go into that call. Because how much are you going to make on that deal, bro? If you close it?
Like as is, like if I don't like, ask any questions, I'm looking to novate it. So we're looking at like on the low end, like 30 or 40 grand, and then on the high end, like 70 grand.
Yeah, man. So would you say it's pretty important to dial in your sales skills before you have that call?
Yeah, 100%. And
So
also,
yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to, because I think a person came on here, had wanted a property in Michigan. I have a property right now in Michigan.
Drop it
Um,
in the chat, bro. Drop it in
yeah,
the chat. They'll if somebody wants a property in Michigan, you can sell it to them. There you go.
yeah.
All right. Awesome. Well,
Thank
everybody
you.
give Abdullah a round of applause for investing in himself, showing up on the call. I just want to hear the opening call again. Myra, so if you guys for you guys that book and you guys that get access to the free trial, do you guys want me to upload this recording inside of one of the communities? Does anybody want to see this? Anybody want to go back and study this again? All right. Tawny, did you book yet? For you guys that book, I'm going to do this right after this. I'm going to upload this into the community. Can you do that for me, Zach? Can you upload this into the community for those people that book? So for you
Yeah.
guys that book and you show up, again, and you show up, I'm going to upload that for you guys as well. So for all of you guys that booked, I'm assuming, Zach, that we're pretty much all taken up. Do we have another spot left? Or are we full? I was about to check my calendar and see.
It looks like we're full.
Okay, so we're completely full for this one. We'll go into Q&A. Now I will do like for you guys that maybe that didn't get it. I would recommend still booking and you can still book, you can still talk to my team. you can still get access to all of the scripts and stuff, even if you don't get the free trial. That like you're there to talk about our advanced group as well, how we train some of the top companies in the country. And so, like for you guys that book, they're going to talk to you. You sent it just to me. There you go. So for you guys that book, they're going to talk to you about how we're training some of the top companies in the country. And so that's with our total advanced group. That's a lot more than just the scripts. That's the objection handlers. That's the daily training. That's all of that. So for you guys that haven't already, go ahead. There's a link inside the chat. It looks like Zach just dropped it one more time. Let me see if I have any other questions. I got a couple. What CRM do you use? I recommend Resimply, although I use a different one. I'm locked into a 3-year contract with mine. I went from Resimply to Salesforce, and then I'm going back to Resimply because Resimply is the best. Go High Level's pretty good too. We use Salesforce, but I'm trained in all of them. So for you guys that book, I'll actually help you guys with the CRM if you get into the advanced group. I set up all of that stuff for you. Max says, how do I get the recording to the whole call again? You got to book a call, man. Zach's going to drop that inside the chat for you, Max, if you haven't booked already. Help me to get my first deal outside of just sales training. Nick Redmond, where are you at, big dog? Let me look at my calendar because I might have to go really soon. No, I can hang out with you guys for a little bit. Let me see if Nick Redmond's still on. Nick,
What's going on, brother?
where are you getting stuck, bro? Let me know how I can help.
Well, I'm just getting started. I've basically just been calling Zillow and trying to lowball and stuff. So I'm just wondering if I got into the community besides sales training, is it going to help me with like a strategy so I know that the effort I'm putting in and the sales is in the right place, if that makes sense?
Dude, so inside of our group, so this is the advanced group. That is a huge thing. So there's 3 parts. One thing, here's what I've noticed from training people to get their first deal is the first thing you need the right strategy. You need to go into the right strategy. So if you're going to be cold calling, like for sale by owners, for example, or expired listings, you have to have a really good script to go into it. You also need to know your KPIs. So we give you the script to go into that, and we give you the KPIs you need to hit to be able to not only get your first deal, but get your first deal in the next 30 days. Because do you want to get your first deal in 6 months from now?
I want it like yesterday, bro.
Yesterday, right? And so I'll share my screen. I'll show you like some of the things we have for help inside of there. So let me show you just a couple of things. Number one, we have an underwriting call. So do you ever feel unconfident? First of all, can you see the school group, or am I sharing something else?
Yep.
So we have an underwriting call inside of our community where we literally will teach you how to underwrite deals to make sure that you're getting them at the right price. We'll teach you how to objection handle. We'll teach you how to manage your leads, dispositions. If you don't know how to sell your deals, we'll teach you how to dispo them, right? We have an owners only call where we teach you the marketing, the CRM, all of the setup. So when you get set up, like if you join the community, you'll get a call with me inside of our advanced group where I literally help you set up your CRM. I help you set up your systems and your processes. So that way everything else is covered. It's just the sales training. It's just an addition to that. Like sales training is the number one thing that's going to actually help you get the deal. But if there's anything else you need help with, I didn't get to 6 figures profit per month by just doing sales, obviously. Like sales was 90% of it. But yeah, I have to have a CRM. I have to have processes. I have to have automations. We help you guys with all of that stuff. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you book a call already?
Yep, on Monday.
Hell yeah, man. So you got one of the early ones. You must have been one of the first people to book, huh?
Yeah, as soon as you dropped it, bro.
Hell yeah, man. You're gonna kill it, dude. See, those are the people that crush it. No hesitancy. They just go in for it, man. Yeah, I'm gonna help you, bro. We're gonna crush it.
Yes, sir. Thanks, man.
Cool. Let's see. I got Sung. Let me go to Sung, and then I'll go to the rest of the Q&A. Sung, what's up, man?
Hey, how's it going?
Going well. How can I help?
Um, yeah, I asked the question earlier. Sorry, I was a little late today, just saw it. But anyways, my question is, I've seen Jeremy Miner, I've seen a little bit of his contents and reels, and I've seen you. Was wondering if NEPQ works for all lead types and in all situations, because I kind of noticed that one guy was saying that when I did NEPQ, I'm like doing this for like 40 plus more minutes versus when you're doing like a super, super cold call, you don't really have that much time, because one of the niches that I'm focusing on is pre-foreclosures, lease options. So we don't really come in and,
Bro,
do subject to and buy.
let me
Oh
just
yeah.
stop. I'll just stop you right now, bro. A majority, I would say a good chunk of our, I wouldn't say a majority, but a good chunk of our students that are doing six figures are a month are doing cold calling and calling foreclosures. And even if you're doing a lease option, is just a different exit strategy. What matters is that you get the property under contract at a good price, right? Like that's what matters. And the thing with foreclosures is how often do you talk to a foreclosure that says they don't want to sell, even though they have to sell?
All the time.
If you don't learn how to close those people, you will not make it in this market with foreclosures. So anybody here in sub two? Can you guys just type in a one? Anybody in the sub two community? No? So one of our students, she coaches she's a coach for one of the sub two, and we've trained her on all of her sales processes. She locks up 3 to 4 contracts per week, just cold calling foreclosures that don't want to sell the property. They do not want to sell. They're like, no, I'm just going to keep it. I'm just going to try to do a bankruptcy. I'm going to get the money somehow. And so if you don't learn how to close those people, she's going to close them. One of our other students is going to close them. And so inside of our community, we literally have a foreclosure script that walks you through how to get them from I'm not selling, I'm trying to keep it to a closed deal all the way at the end. So absolutely, bro, it works. And especially for foreclosures, you need to build trust because are you the only person calling them?
So I work with the owner and operator. I started off as an appointment setter, but now he's teaching me more of the back ends, like closing,
Yeah.
getting the mortgage statement, all that stuff. So,
Yeah, but are you the only one calling them? Are you the
no,
only one? There's
there's,
other people calling foreclosures,
yeah,
right?
there's two. Oh, are you saying in general? Yes.
And so who's going to get the deal?
Me.
If you learn the right skills, it'll be you.
Yeah,
But you got whoever's the best closer. Did you book a
absolutely.
call already, by the way?
Yeah, as soon as you guys opened up to 5 more, I jumped right in.
Wow, you're one of the first people too. Make sure you tell them that you're calling foreclosures. That's a huge one that we train. We have one of our most profitable companies in our group. That's all they do. They just call foreclosures. Actually, two of the most profitable companies in our group. That's all they do is they just call foreclosures. It's a really good
Mhm.
model. So yes, we'll definitely be able to help you with that.
One last thing. Do you also teach on how to do the stacked method, the capital stack
You talking
for
about
multifamilies?
Are you talking about like what are you referring to specifically?
Um, Basically, pretty much, it's like the Morbius method, but we're able to give them a larger down payment. It's structured in a two escrow close. Like
Yeah,
first
double. Yeah,
project.
yeah, yeah, we do those. We do the double closes. As far as like what we'll focus on, man, is we'll teach you the thing that actually is going to get you the most bang for your buck, which is getting the properties at a discount, getting people to commit to you without giving you objections. As far as the exit strategy from there, there's a I mean, we've got, I don't know, 15 companies doing over 100K a month. There are other people you can connect with if it's something that I don't do personally. So like we do mostly wholesales and like a little bit of like we do some buy and holds too. But if you were looking for like a different exit strategy, tons of people inside the community can help you with that as well.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Sean.
Yep. Joshua said, what about land flipping? So if you saw the testimonial from Adon, this was the craziest thing. So Adon right here, he's doing about 60K a month. In this testimonial, he said he's been a part of a lot of groups. It's rare to get this much value. And he's been in land flipping groups that just teach you how to flip land. He got more value in our group learning how to close people than specific land flipping. So yeah, we have land flippers inside of our group as well. Absolutely. That's a big one. Joshua, make sure you book. So I am Amadou. Amadou, I am going to pull you off mute. Looks like you had a question, bro. I'm gonna have to ask you how to pronounce your name. Amato. Amato. How do you say your name, brother?
We said Amadou.
Amadou. I'ma
Yeah,
do it. All right. Well, let me ask you this, dude.
exactly.
I'ma do it. I'ma do it. I'ma close the deal.
Hell yeah.
All right.
How
What
you
can I
doing?
help with, bro?
Yeah, so basically, this seller right here, everything was going well, and then all of a sudden she started hesitating and she started acting like I'm scared to be scammed. I sent her the contract and everything,
Yep.
and at the very last moment, she just got scared and just stopped the process. How do you overcome those type of?
Hey, would you role play with me for a second? Hey, would you believe me if I told you that a lot of the sellers that we end up helping are a little bit scared at this point in the process?
Yeah, I will. I mean, I understand because a house is really
Yeah, it's a
a
huge
big,
decision, right?
yeah.
And my entire job is to help you feel 100% comfortable because if you're not comfortable, we're not going to do this. So help me understand, what would you want to see to feel 100% comfortable that this is going to close and that this isn't a scam?
I mean, I just want to see that you guys are very serious.
Okay,
If you guys can, come to my house, we can have a cup of tea, and
sure.
talk about it so I know that you guys real. That would make me a lot more secure.
Okay, so let's say we did that, right? Let's say we send somebody out to the house, we brought over an agreement. You guys can see us face to face. You'll see somebody on our team. I mean, if we did that, would that help you feel more comfortable that this is not a scam and that we're actually going to be able to get this done for you?
Yeah, that will help a lot because I'll know
Okay.
that you guys are actually serious and you guys are actually real and not virtual.
Would you have any other concerns other than that?
No, that's the only thing.
All right. Well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to type up an agreement. I'm going to have somebody come out to your house. They're going to go over it with you. They're going to call me. So I'll be able to read it because I'm not local. So they're going to call me. I'm going to read it with you. And then we're going to go ahead and get it signed there. Would that help, man?
Yes, that will help a lot.
All right. So I want you guys to type in a one in the chat if you guys feel like you could close more deals, if you guys could do that every single time. Type in a
That
one
is
in the
great.
chat, right? One's in the chat. So
Yeah, and I actually never thought about this actually.
and
It's
have
wow.
you booked a call yet already?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm probably among the five first people who booked the call. I mean,
Let's
the first
go.
15 people here.
Action takers. That's what I like to see, man. So you're going to crush it. You just need to learn how to do that, man. If you learn how to do that, you're going to absolutely crush it. There's nothing that's going to stop you from being able to scale the business from there. Is that helpful,
Yeah,
bro?
man. Yeah, man. It was very helpful, and I'm trying to learn all this because I'm not even from here. I speak my language is French, so I'm
Hell
I'm,
yeah.
I'm learning. I'm learning about. I did one deal though, but
Oliver
I'm
Davis inside of our group. Oliver Davis in the Bay Area, crushing it from France. You actually don't really have an accent. Oliver Davis has a strong French accent and he crushes. So don't let that stop you, man. We have people inside of our group doing six-figure months from other countries. So don't let that prevent you. I'll tell you, I got a student right now I could connect you with. Right when you get in the advanced group, bro, go to Oliver Davis and tell him that you're in. You guys can connect about France.
Okay, I got you, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. All right, let's see what other questions we have. Do you do novations? So, guys, inside of our community, first of all, type in a one in the chat if you guys want to learn how to do novations. Type in a one in the chat if you guys want to learn how to do novations. So, inside of our advanced group, we give you the scripts, we give you the process. We have a call every single week. It's a dispo call every single week where we teach you step by step how to do novations. This is inside of our advanced group. It's with my director of dispo who has closed over $3 million in assignments, 60% of those being novations. And so we also, I have a training inside of here that you guys will get access to if you book a call. There's a training inside of wholesaling fundamentals, and let me see if I can pull it up. It's the full novation and MLS process, right? So right here, full novation and MLS process, break down everything step by step from how to do them, what contracts you need. All the contracts are there, all the paperwork's there, everything you need to be able to do novations. But most importantly, in our advanced group, we teach you how to push them or how to close them. So there we go. Well, everything you spoke about being there, being this call, being the black book. No, the black book does not have everything. The black book is a black book of different questions. By the way, if you guys didn't get the black book and you pre-ordered it, Some of you guys pre-ordered it before the call. I want you guys to email this email, Sell Easy USA. You have to send the receipt, and then she'll send it over to you guys. Zach, you want to drop a link one more time for those people that were interested in novations that haven't booked yet? Make sure that they book as well. So any of you that, if you guys don't know what a novation is, if you guys are getting stuck on your cash deals and you need to go higher in price, we teach you how to put them on the market and sell them to retail buyers so you can make more money and the seller gets more money. There are people out there that's their entire program is teaching you how to do novations. They charge $15,000, $20,000 just to teach you how to do novations. That's just an add-on in our group because we're the big dogs out here, right? We just do that we just give that to you as another thing. And we teach it at the highest level. All right. Real quick, before we hop off today, I want to let you guys know that I do these masterclasses relatively frequently. I have a couple of things coming up. I can't breathe through my nose. I'm going to be getting nose surgery. And so I'll be out for a while. And so I'm getting my nose fixed so I can breathe through it. Second thing is I'm going on vacation next week. I need to go to the beach. So I'm just going to go hang out with my family. We're going to go sit on the beach and enjoy the ocean. So Zach's going to drop this link one more time. This is not going to be available for a while, right? We're not going to be doing this for a while because of the couple things that I have coming up. I don't know how long it's going to take me to recover from my nose surgery. So this is why I was kind of, hey, let's open up the call for another 5. If you guys haven't booked yet, this is going to be the last time that you guys have the opportunity to do that in a really long time. And so there's the link inside of the description. One more time, Zach just dropped it. Make sure you guys fill it out all the way till the end. I know we're booked out for a while, and so I can have my team call you. If you guys have to book out for like 2 weeks, completely okay. I'll have my team call you to see if they can move some of you guys up because I know you guys basically filled the calendar. So had a ton of you guys on today. You guys really did fill the calendars up. I think there was at least 20 people, and there's only 47 people left. All right, let's see if there's any other questions. How much is the program? Talk to our team about that. We have a bunch of different programs, man. Just depends on where you're at. Let's say you hypothetically, a motivated seller verbally agrees that they're potentially open to the possibility of considering an offer at some undefined future point, but only if the house itself structurally, emotionally, spiritually feels ready to transition to a new owner. What would the most ethically sound NEPQ approved sentence to begin that conversation with, assuming the house can hear? I have no idea what your question is, anonymous attendee. I'm sorry. You'd have to come off mute. Is Deal Machine and Batch Dialer good? It's Deal Machine if you're going to be doing driving for dollars. Batch, we use Batch as well. Let's see. I'm gonna go one more question. I'm gonna look for a good one. So if you guys have a question, I'll go one more. Okay. So you find the best response to people who pick up and say, send me an offer and are firm, who seem like they've been called too many times. The best answer. Okay, so Uncle Richie, I'm going to go one more question. And if anybody here, type in a 1, anybody here get hostile sellers? Like you guys get sellers that are like, just give me an offer, get off the phone. Right? I'm going to show you guys how to disarm them. I'm going to go, first thing, they're like, hey, just give me an offer, get off the phone. Or give me an offer, just send it over to me. I'm not doing this. I'm not playing this game. I'm going to go, man, it sounds like you've gotten a couple calls on this. And they're going to go, oh, yeah, I get calls every single day. Well, hold on. You mean you didn't sign up to get a call every single day on this? Is that what you're telling me? No, absolutely I didn't. It's super annoying. Yeah. You know what? A lot of the sellers that we've helped in the past have said that exact same thing. They get tons of calls completely out of the blue. And you know what they tell us is that most of the time, they're just a bunch of knuckleheads that ask completely irrelevant questions. And sometimes they never even get to an offer. Is that kind of what you've been dealing with? Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's exactly what I've been dealing with. Now they feel understood. And yeah, here's the thing. You might be better off just keeping the property. That's actually why I'm calling. I would need to know a little bit more about the condition and when you're looking to sell. And then at the end of the call, if it does look like something we could buy, we could walk you through some next steps. Are you with me there? Would that help so we don't waste each other's time? Oh, yes, that would help tremendously. Uncle Richie, type in a 1. Did I answer your question, bro? If you can't overcome hostile sellers, you are leaving a ton of money on the table. So you guys, we're going to drop the link one more time. If you guys didn't get it, you guys can open it up. You guys can finish filling it out. If you guys saw me objection handle today and you feel like you cannot get to that level, you're not at that level yet, you're just going to get beat out because we have people in every single state that are going to take the deals. But if you guys want to get to 6 figures a month profit, maybe even just like 5,000 a month profit, 10,000 a month profit, we're going to give you the step-by-step plan to be able to get there. There's nobody else in the industry that shows proof like we do. There's no one else in the industry that's teaching this exact process. So book your call, and I will see you guys next week. All right. Peace out, guys. You guys go crush it.